Satnam, hello, welcome back everyone to the stream. Satnam everyone. Satnam Infinite Stories, we were already chatting even before the beginning, right? And yes, welcome everyone. And as usual, I have 2 streams per week, and one of the streams is dedicated to the whatever course I am running at the moment. In this time, I'm doing number 7 from Karankrilla. And the other day, I have it free, I have it available. I was planning to do other things at the beginning of the year, like, for example, I was thinking of reading the Yoga Sutras and reading a book with some translation or interpretation and giving my own interpretation as well. But I'm still not doing that, and partly because I'm not sure about the copyright. How are the things with the copyright about that? Because if I'm reading a book, I don't know how much of the book I can read without making an infringement with the copyright. So I'll probably do it at some point, but maybe I'll do my own interpretation and just read the original. But yeah, I have to figure it out. In the meantime, I have some, free sessions. So I'm here for you. If anybody connects and you tell me what you want to talk about, then that's what we do. And if I have any idea, then I will just introduce that as well. So today I was asking 2 Infinite Stories, and I'm definitely interested in mantras. I've kind of made up my own that I use, so I'm interested in more info. All right, good. Let's talk about that. So can you tell me, what did you make up? What's the mantra that you made up? Is it that you created a new one in your own language, or did you translate an old mantra in a new way, or do you make some sort of affirmation? Okay, I am more than my physical body. I am light, I am love, I am life. I am one with the universal mind. I see. All right, that's nice. I am more than my physical body. I am light, I am love, I am life. I am one with the universal mind. All right, that sounds quite nice. So, okay. All right, so then I see it's about creating your own with your own language. All right, so there's a number of things that we can consider when we are creating something like that. Yeah. Now, would that be a mantra or not? Well, if it's literally protecting your mind, it is a mantra, right? The translation for mantra is protection of the mind. So, but that's one of them. Yeah. Tra could be like traversing, so going beyond and things like that. Is it too long? No, it's fine. Don't worry about that. So if you utilize it in that way, you can certainly use it as a mantra and protect yourself with that. Now, some people may be very strict about what is mantra and what is not, and people may put all sorts of rules. Personally, I am quite open to the interpretation of what a mantra is. So, of course, some mantras will have more power than others, right? But also, if we have created something like this, then it will have its own power. Now, I have something to say about, creating our own teachings, or choosing to read or to chant or to meditate upon practices which are tried and tested, let's say, right? So I always like to give both sides of the coin. So let me approach it from that perspective, from the perspective of giving both sides of the coin. So first of all, let's say about what is the nice side, the positive side, let's say. One is it that if you create it by yourself, then it's going to have meaning to you. So when you are speaking it, you're going to be empowering it with your own meaning. It's very different from reading something that maybe you don't even know what it means. Maybe you are reading, and don't worry about being too long. There are some mantras which are quite long. The Mahamrityunjaya mantra is not only long in the name, it's long in the pronunciation of it, yeah? Trayambakam jajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva vandanam murtyor mukshiyam amritat swaha. That's a long mantra, so is it too long? No, don't worry about that. I would say it's really difficult to tell what is the line between a mantra, and when it becomes much longer, then what is that? It's just a Shabbat, because you can take a Shabbat and just read it out loud, and you can meditate upon it. You can take any poem from any guru or any saint and then just read it like that. But sometimes some will be considered mantras, right? And they are generally not so long. But the one you were saying, Infinite Stories, that's quite okay. So if it's something that is meaningful to you, you're going to empower it. If you are reading the Mahamrityunjaya mantra and you don't even know what it means, you're just going to repeat it and, feel the vibration of it. And you're going to receive a lot of benefits, because that has already some benefits associated, but it's not going to be the same that if you know what you are saying. For example, a mantra that we use a lot in the Kundalini Yoga is Satnam. Yeah? And we utilize it, which is funny. It comes from the Sikh Dharma. Yeah? But if you go to India, to any Sikh, and you say Satnam, they will look at you like, where is this guy coming from, right? They generally say Sat Sri Akal. But in our tradition, then we say Satnam, and we use it for a salutation. We use it to connect one with the other. We use it to bless the food. We use it to inhale and exhale, right? We say repeat it with every breath. However, I emphasize when I teach in classes that it's not just Satnam. It's what you are. Sat is truth. Nam is identity. So can you identify yourself with the truth when you are saying Satnam? So can you give meaning to the words? Can you inhale Sat, exhale Nam? And you can even say, I am Satnam, right? So it's identifying with that. So the fact that you create your own mantra and then you are giving it your meaning, you're gonna put that into the pronunciation of it. So that's a positive on that side. I've been picking things up since 1991, starting with the Monroe Institute. I am more than my physical body. The universal mind comes from a guided meditation I did over 100 times. I am light, love, and life comes from Jesus. All right. Okay, so you picked up from some traditions and you mixed it up, yeah? Yeah, again, we have to see both sides of the coin, yeah? Some traditions will lend themselves really well to mix up, and some traditions will not. So, for example, when we are practicing Kundalini Yoga, we recommend that we open the session with the Om Namo, and then we finish with the Satnam, and everything that is within those two brackets, let's say, let's keep it within the context of that tradition and not put anything else from other tradition. Not because we have anything against any other tradition, but because some things don't mix up very well. I'll give you an example. I used to teach in a yoga center in Spain for many years. I don't know if it was like 10 years or so, or maybe 8. And the guys who were running the center, they were practicing pranic healing as well, which I love. Pranic healing is really, really nice. It's like if I may say, more advanced version of than Reiki, because Reiki is just, a position of the hands, and then you're channeling energy. But in the pranic healing, you were paying attention to where do you put the hands, what kind of energy do you project, does it have a color, the energy, or not? You would match the color to the disease that the person is having so that the healing is more potent, and you would go to the specific chakra, and it's very, very advanced practice of healing with pranic healing. And I really enjoy their practices. I did a few courses with them as well as a student, and I learned how to use the energy the way they did it. But then at some point, the owners of the center, they said that their teachers from Italy told them that they could not practice Kundalini Yoga if they were doing pranic healing. Now that's kind of surprising to me, because one thing is mixing things up. Another thing is practicing, right? You could have a yoga practice from Ashtanga and then another one from Iyengar, and then, if you don't mix it up, it's perfectly fine if you want to experience one or experience the other. At the end of the day, you may want to focus on one because you're going to go towards mastery in one area and one field, let's say. No, this is like if you were like trying to go to university and study the first year of every degree, right? It could be really exciting, and you could have a wide understanding of knowledge and how the different disciplines interact with each other, but you're not going to go very deep. And there's nothing wrong about that, but you're not going to go very deep, yeah? So if you want to go deep into one particular practice, it's recommended that you stick to one. So mixing things up may not be helpful. You may experience that, but in the case of pranic healing, they were saying don't even experience that. So they were banned from practicing Kundalini Yoga, which was, to me, was a little bit like the beginning of the end of my time in that yoga center, because if they cannot, they themselves, they are not allowed to experience the kind of yoga that is being practiced in their center, it kind of doesn't make much sense, right? So I felt like there was some intrinsic conflict there within their own energies, right? So that could be one thing. So Infinite Study says, every morning I chant Om Namo Narayanaya and then do it chakra sound for 10 minutes each, 108 times verbally, and the rest of the time is mental chants. Right? Good. Okay. So you are a mantra yogi, yeah? You've been instructed in some way through the repetition of the mantras as your personal sadhana. That's wonderful. That's what I've done many years. Now I hope that you combine this with some physical practice. Though even though in your mantra you say I'm not my physical body, I hope you do some physical work as well, because otherwise the body needs to build up the strength of the nervous system to hold all the energy that you are generating with the mantras. So that's one thing to say. But let me go back to the idea of creating your own mantra. So it has these positive benefits that you having your own meaning, that you're going to imbue the mantra with meaning as you are chanting it. You're going to repeat it not like a parrot, but something that it makes sense for you. Is there a difference between chants and mantras? Well, this is what I'm saying, that the line is difficult to trace. Where are you going to make the difference? There's definitely a very clear difference between singing and chanting. That's for sure. And mantras are to be chanted if you want to meditate upon them. However, how much, you can have a bhajan or a Shabad, and you can sing it, or you can chant it even. You can put some melody or some music. I think kirtan is one of the best ways to meditate, one of the most profound ways that you can commune with the divine, right? It's a wonderful method, yeah? And in the kirtan, you may be chanting a Shabad, and it's a Shabad, it's not a mantra. But you can also take part of the Shabad, and some Shabads are lending themselves very well to do that, taking a little bit, and then that's a mantra. So, but who can tell what is a mantra and what is not? I don't know. I cannot tell what is one and what is not, but I also cannot tell what something is not mantra, right? So I'm not going to say something that somebody creates is not a mantra, because who knows? And if the meaning of the word mantra is to protect the mind, if you are reciting that and it's protecting you, then it is a mantra, right? Even if it's not like an old mantra, let's say. So these are the advantages. Now, inconveniences, there is a number of things as well. Now, if you create it, there is a little bit of a risk that there is some subjective part of you within the creation of that. And now, if you were also mixing different traditions, then how much are you aware of how compatible or how conflicting can they be? And it's difficult to tell, because when you are chanting the words, you are not just vibrating the words, you are channeling whatever that tradition comes with, no? So you are connecting to that line, that bloodline, let's say, no? That divine line, that golden line, that where the mantra comes from. So if you are chanting something from Jesus, then you are connecting to the energy of Jesus. But then if you are connecting something from the, what do you say, Monroe Institute, which I'm not aware of, then where is that tradition coming from? And I don't know. I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm just saying I don't know, and you will have to feel it. As far as the way I read it, I am more than my physical body. I am light, I am love, I am life, I am one with the universal mind. It sounds good. It sounds quite balanced. I like that you are going over there I am not the body, I am not the mind, yeah? Kind of this going towards the spirit side. Identifying with the light and with the love. I am life. I don't know about I am life, because the essence in you and the essence in us, that's Akal, that's Satsiri Akal, that's the essence of us that doesn't die. So I wouldn't say I am life, because we are beyond death, beyond life and death. The part of us that we are trying to connect with when we are meditating is the part of us that will continue after this life ends. So if you identify with life, what's going to happen the day that you die? So that's why I am a little bit cautious about using the I am life word within the mantra. But I am one with universal mind. This is similar to what we say sometimes in Kundalini, like God and me and God are one. We chant this repeatedly to tune in to that and to connect with the universal mind, the universal consciousness. So, yeah. So let me give you the other side of the coin as well. There is some value to utilizing a mantra that has been created thousands of years ago. There is something intrinsic in the vibration of it, that because it's been vibrated for thousands of years, for millions of people, those words have a specific charge that the ones that we may create don't have. I used to say joy instead of life. I was up in the air on that one also. Yeah. Joy, I like joy because joy could be a translation of bliss, like Anand, sorry. So when we are looking at what is yoga and we find our own identity, we talk about, the path of yoga is a path of self-realization, to realize who is your true self. And the way it is described in yoga is, at some point you recognize your identity is Sat Chit Ananda, right? Sat is the truth, Chit is the consciousness, and Ananda is the bliss. So joy could be a way to connect to that Ananda, yeah? And so saying it in that way, you would be connecting to that aspect of us which feels true happiness, not temporal pleasure, but true happiness, yeah? So, it's a very joyful thing, and it's perfectly, if you see the Hare Krishnas, sometimes they are just chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, and they are doing their seva, and they are in joy. And who am I to say to them, do some asanas, because they are in ecstasy, right? So that's the path of the bhakti, the bhakti yoga. But I always come back to the Bhagavad Gita and Krishna saying to Arjuna, look, there is the three legs. There is the bhakti, there is the karma, and there is the jnana as well. So I try to always keep it balanced like that. Satnam Bombadia Mulibwa. I'm not sure. I probably butchered your name, but it's good to see you here, Satnamji. Welcome. If I'm changing mantra, how difficult it is, because when I get initiation, they told me I should not change. Oh, yes. Okay, so good. I'm glad this question comes. So definitely don't change anything, right? If it's a mantra that is already being created, I wouldn't recommend changing it at all. And when I'm saying a mantra, that also applies to a kriya, for example. If in Kundalini Yoga we have certain series of exercises, and they are going to have a particular effect on us. And that's like a recipe, right? And we follow it just as it is, and we don't change it. Because, well, let's put it like this. I've been seeing yoga since I was a child, since I was a baby. My parents were yogis before I was born. I've been seeing yoga all around my life. I've been practicing yoga over 20 years, and teaching also quite a long time. I can look at one of these recipes, one of these kriyas, and I can understand a lot of stuff. I can understand what is happening in the chakras, what is happening in the organs. I can see how the energy is moving, and I can understand that one exercise is leading to the next in terms of these different levels. I can sort of have a little bit of an idea of what kind of thing could be happening in the mind as well through the postures and through the chakra that is being activated. And I have a very, very tiny understanding of meridians, tiny, like almost non-existent, right? So after all this experience, I can understand the Kriya more or less, right? On some levels better than on others. And yet, I don't feel myself confident to change anything, because the ways that all these exercises are connecting to each other, they are so subtle and so many are hidden, that to me, to decide to change something would risk bringing my ego into the game, right? And starting to feel that, I am very clever, right? Because I can change this exercise. And that's really, really tricky. And then the mind games that we were seeing this week, the other video we were talking about, they come into place, and then you start feeling that, you can create your own exercises. So exporting this idea into mantras, right? I think it's perfectly fine to have a sentence that you repeat to yourself and you make it a mantra for yourself. This is very much like an affirmation. If you affirm something in yourself, then what could be wrong in that? Now, it's not the same as an affirmation, because I believe that something like what Infinite Stories was saying before, I am more than my physical body, I am light, I am love, I am life, I am one with the universal mind. This is not just an affirmation, it goes beyond. I think mantras go well beyond affirmations, right? However, you can use it in that way. You can affirm yourself, your identity with the light, your identity with the love, your identity with the joy, your willingness to commune with the universal mind. You can affirm all this and repeat it and vibrate it, and it will work for you in that way. However, what we are talking about, what Bombardier was asking, now it's a different thing. Now we are taking a mantra that has existed for thousands of years or for hundreds of years. Millions of people have chanted it, and that vibration is already encapsulated in the words. And chanting it exactly in that way is going to have that effect. And if you change anything, you're going to lose that effect. So there is a matter of purity of the teachings here. How pure are we in utilizing this technology that has been delivered to us, and then enjoying it and practicing it without putting our ego in between that experience. Hopefully that makes sense. I remember there is this, let me see if I have it, Hold on a second. Have you been aware of the experiments that Masaru Emoto did? I don't know if you are familiar with them, but he studied the effect that sound and vibration and words have on water. And what he would do is he would freeze the water, and then unfreezing it, notice the kind of crystals that appear in the water. And I think one of the first experiments he did, he took a monk reciting some prayer. I think it was a Buddhist monk reciting prayers to the water and noticing how the water was responding. And we can see this would be the tap water without prayers, before prayers, and this would be the tap water after the prayers. So we can see that making a prayer has a clear effect. And he was quite a scientist. He was a scientist, so his method would be quite scientific. He would take many samples and would do many different kind of tests. So that's interesting. But now let's take a look at another experiment that he did. Yeah, these are the waters that would be on the water. I love you, I hate you, I'll kill you, Mother Teresa, and Hitler. So I think this experiment is very interesting for a number of reasons. One is that the water understands language, right? And it would understand the meaning with which we say the words. However, in the experiments that he did, he would also just write on a piece of paper the word and just stick it on the water, which is kind of unbelievable. It's kind of crazy to think that the water could be extracting some sort of vibration out of the words that you write on a piece of paper. And I mean, from a scientist's point of view, because I'm a scientist, it's really difficult to believe, really hard to believe. And yet you can do experiments with this and they work. So I think it's good for everybody to do an experiment with that. But there's something very interesting about this. Look, if you put the words on water, there is this, in the beginning was the word was with God, the word is God. So words are God. God is God, yeah, generating, organizing, and destructive energy. So the words have the capacity to create something. Look, generate some sort of pattern, yeah. So, and destructive pattern as well. So the words themselves have a particular vibration that is going to affect. But not only that, how can there be a difference between Mother Teresa and Hitler? And I believe that this differentiation is because so many people have repeated this word and associated it to all the horrible things that people endured because of this person. And so all the pain, all the suffering, all the karma, all the horrible stuff is already engraved within the very word Hitler. Yeah? And Mother Teresa, how many people have associated those words with her deeds, her seva, her work, her karma yoga, right, her service, and all the beautiful, dharma that she brought to the world. So the words have a vibration depending on how people are utilizing that word. So what this means is that if we take an old mantra like Om Namah Shivaya, or what were you saying, Om Namo Narayanaya? Yeah, Om Namo Narayanaya. And we repeat it again and again and again. And there's millions of us repeating it. In somewhere in the cosmos, right, in the Akashic records, there is a vibration of bliss, of meditation, of joy, of prayer associated to the Om Namah Shivaya. And so any person who comes afterwards repeating those words, they are going to benefit from that vibration that is already associated with that. So that's the benefit of chanting a mantra, that it already exists. It already comes from that vibration, yeah? Infinite Story says, I'm self-taught and just have done what resonates with me. That's why I'm glad I found your channel. They have proven the water has memory. Yes, indeed, water has memory. There's a few really nice documentaries in YouTube on the memory of water. There's one very interesting documentary about water memory from a previous Nobel Prize winner. I think it was some physicist. So that's I recommend you watching that one, yeah, as well. So if you are taking a mantra from before that somebody gave you as an initiation, like Bombardier was telling us, don't change it, because it has the vibration already in it, right? And you are going to benefit from thousands of years. But try also to tune in to the meaning of that mantra when you're repeating it. Don't just do it like a parrot, right? Because we have these practices in mantra yoga. I've done these practices, like repeat it 108 times, but then give it meaning, yeah, to this 108. Make it with meaning. I remember reading in some forum in the internet once, so how many times do I have to repeat it to get enlightened? And another one is like, 108 times 108. And how many times is that? How many years will I take? And it's just such a silly discussion. It's just so nonsensical, right? So I have to repeat 20,000 X number of times to get enlightened. Okay, and to purify the chakras, how many months? And if I repeat it twice a day, Monday, and you're like, this is so silly. what is this? It's like the mind trying to trick the universe into getting enlightened or something. I think there is somewhere in the teachings, I don't even know where it is, but I remember my teacher telling me about this. If we only said it once, just once, the true name, the name of the divine, if we said it only once, but with absolute pure love, 100% of our heart and soul, only one single time, 100%, all the karmas would be dissolved. All the karmas would burn away and we would be liberated. Imagine that. Only one time. So, so why do we repeat things 108? Well, 108 is a very special number, and maybe someday we will go into that. But I think we are doing it partly to train ourselves, partly to hypnotize the mind so that the mind is less in between our words and our heart, right? So if we want to put 100% of our heart, our mind has to be transparent. This is part of the work we are doing with the numbers, how to make the mind games transparent. If you don't make them transparent, you are repeating the words and thinking about, I'm going to get enlightened, whatever, right? So we say it 108 times so that if at any time one day we feel more in tune, we are more tuned in to the frequency of the heart is more open, the love is more flowing, then let me say the name in that moment. So if I'm already repeating it and it's already part of my habit, then it may happen at that time. So that's partly why we do it. We repeat it so many times. But again, it's recommended that we don't do it like a parrot, because then it will not have that effect. I'd rather just say the mantra once, but with pure conviction, than say it 100 times and not mean anything, right? Not just because, I have to go to work, I have to do it, I have to do a mala, so let me do the 108 before I go, and you're running just to get out of the house. And yet, both sides of the coin, there is a value in discipline. And if you don't do it even that day, when you don't want to do it, when you are running late, then it's easy to let the mind trick you the next time and things start to go downhill. So it's better to keep the discipline anyway. So it's always both sides, they are always there. There's another thing I would like to mention about the mantras. Feel free to tell me how you are receiving this, how you are hearing this. Those of you who are live right now, how is this touching you in your practice? Bombadi, I'm wondering, when they gave you this mantra, did they say that it was something secret, that you had to keep it? And if you want to share what was your tradition that you practice, and if you do mantra yoga, if you practice other mantras as well, let us know. A little juice to hydrate. So there is another thing I would like to mention. It goes in line with what I mentioned before about I don't create kriyas because I don't know enough. Even if I know a little bit about chakras and mind and all that, how can I make a formula that I know is going to have a particular effect? And that's really tricky. Now, when I am in my daily practice, I may choose to do some particular series of stretching exercises that are not coming from any kriya, and I'm just going to enjoy them. But I'm not going to call it a kriya, because it's not. It's just a series of exercises that my body is feeling that it needs right now. And I'm fine with that, with doing that. So in the same way, we can say any number of positive reinforcement sentences that are going to help us. Though here I would say, it may have the same effect as a mantra, but it's not the same as chanting a mantra that is old, that it has a lot of people behind, that it has all the energy from people behind, from a tradition behind, that we know where it comes from. And I'm going to say why. I want to explain why as well. Because, and I'm going to say, this is why we chant the mantra in the original language as well, Because the sounds have power. And in the channel, if you haven't seen it before, there is a whole course on mantra chanting. And in that course, I go through every sound, like the letter B, the letter P, the T, the D. Every single sound has a lot of things behind. Every sound has a certain meaning associated to it already. And when they are put together one after the other, that's also like a recipe. So when you are saying, when you are saying Om Namah Shivaya or Om Namo Narayanaya, like you were saying in Infinite Stories, the vibration, Naraya, that vibration, that has been designed to create a particular effect. So you're not only calling God Narayan and associating it with water, but you are also vibrating those mantras, those sounds, right? Na, vibrating in the heart, Ra, going to the navel, Ya, coming back to the heart, Na, Ya, heart, 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 yeah? So it's a very heart mantra, heart-centered mantra. And so if I wanted to create a mantra, I wouldn't even know how to put the sounds next to each other. And there is also a reason in Sanskrit, the sounds, or Gurmukhi, the sounds are designed to activate the whole palate, upper palate, yeah? So it's going to have a much more profound effect than when we are reading it in English, for example, or in Spanish, or any language that you speak, because our languages are limited in the effect that it has when the tongue has to touch the upper palate. And in the language, in English, the tongue doesn't touch all the points of the upper palate. There is these meridian points. When you touch them, it's going to have an effect on the brain. If you can say a beautiful sentence, and it will not have the same effect because the tongue is not touching the upper palate. So I have a few messages left here. Bombadilla, they told me, when are you repeating more? I training my mind, but now it is becoming 2 years. I don't see any change. What's the problem, and which idea you can give? Okay, I'm going to go into that in a moment. Let me read the other one. Infinite Study said, chanting Om Namo Narayanaya 108 times is difficult, but in the end, my entire body is buzzing each chakra. Yes, so the discipline is important if you do it every day. I'm going to respond to this one before Bombadilla, yeah? So the chanting it always 108 times, that's going to have an effect because it's discipline. You're establishing a rhythm. You are letting the mind know, look, even if you don't want, we're going to do it every day. So, you better align yourself and come and serve me because, the mind needs to serve, not we serving the mind. When the mind is controlling us, it becomes our demon, yeah? So it has to be our service, yeah? In our service. So doing it every day is a good way to train the mind to be quiet. And but again, Infinite Stories, I hope you do some physical work as well, because mantra chanting is extremely powerful. It moves a lot of energy, much more than we can imagine. And this buzzing that you feel, that's a lot of energy, but your nervous system has to be strong. So make sure you combine it with some pranayama and physical work, okay? Just keep it balanced, especially if you are self-taught. I think you said before that you are self-taught. Look, I said my family, family of yogis, but then when I became a scientist, I ran away as much as I could from everything spiritual. Then, hitting myself against the wall, coming back to the world of yoga, but then self-taught as well, teaching myself. I didn't want to learn from anybody because I didn't want to be, subjected to any kind of prejudice or anything. So I wanted to be completely empty and clean and kind of having a scientist perspective, like let's experiment, let's try it and see if it works. And then what happened is I was chanting too much, I was doing too much meditation, and I had a number of physical issues. And it was because of the not doing enough physical work. So this is my recommendation, that you find a teacher where you live and that you practice some physical work as well. But Maria says, they told me that the name, it is very secret. And that there is no any explanation about the name for me. I just chanting and I don't know the meaning of the name because they told me that name is God's name. Okay. I understand that it is secret. I'm not going to ask you to tell me what it is, but can you tell me which tradition is it from? Is it from a yogic tradition? Is it from a particular school that we know? just to give me a rough idea. So Bombadia, you were saying, I've been repeating it in training my mind, but after 2 years, I don't see any change. So let me ask one thing: did you see a change at the beginning when you started to chant it? These first 2 years, did you feel that your mind was changing, and you felt some improvement in your mind, and then it stopped? Now you feel like it's not improving, or do you feel like for these 2 years you've been doing it, but you don't feel any effect? Let me ask you that. And Infinite Study says, yes, I do some pranayamas, plus I started doing walking meditation recently. I'm disabled, so the physical stuff is difficult, but I'm trying. Oh, I see. I understand. Walking meditations, that's pretty good. If you can do it in nature, even better, because then your prana is not just going to stay in your body, it's going to circulate through nature. Physical stuff is difficult. Okay. Disabled, does it mean you cannot move the arms? Because you could do some physical work with the arms. You know, when a lady is pregnant, for example, when a woman is pregnant, she cannot do a number of exercises which are too physical, but she has a lot of energy within. So, you know, even there's a baby coming in. So she can do a lot of work with the arms. So that could be helpful as well. If you cannot, I don't know if it's like you cannot, but you say you do walking meditation, so you do walk, but maybe very slowly, or I'm not sure how it works. Craniosacral therapy twice a month. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. But that's different, yeah? I'm talking about strengthening the nervous system more than balancing yourself. Because the more balanced you are with the therapy and the more you chant mantras, more energy is going to move. So you have to have a strong nervous system, yeah? Also, diet is very important here. Okay, Bombadia, coming back to your point, yeah? Let me explore. I asked you this question about the 2 years. I'll tell you my thinking. Life, it sometimes goes in moments. There's moments in life when you are advancing greatly, like a great movement forward. And then there's moments in life when we are stabilizing and still. Now, both things are necessary. And not one is better than the other. Yeah, both things are necessary. And actually it could be challenging when you are living with somebody and finding a balance and a harmony between two people, when one is maybe going through the stage where they are moving more and the other one is feeling more stable, or the other way around, or both are having a big movement in their life. It could be challenging to keep a balance between that. That's another reason why it's difficult living in relationships. But in our own lives in general, there's moments when we feel like we are advancing, we are moving on, and moments when we are still. And that may feel like stuck. But stillness and stability is not the same as being stuck. So it's possible that, Bombadia, it's possible that at the beginning when you practiced, you felt some improvement in some way in your relationship to the mind. And now after 2 years, you feel like nothing is happening. Now, it could be a number of things. It could be, one thing could be that you don't realize how well you are because you have gotten used to a high elevated state of vibration or energy. And so, you know, I remember during that time I was doing a lot of meditation and mantras. I was doing too much, really. But okay, I was doing a lot. And then one day I felt sick. And then I had to stop a number of practices. I stopped completely. And 3 or 4 days later, I was walking in the street like, why do I feel like that? Oh, I feel quite, I don't know, what is it terrible? I don't know. Why am I feeling so bad? What's happening to me? And then, but does it hurt somewhere? There's no pain. What is it? Is it like, do I feel like, what is wrong? And then I realized, oh, I'm normal. And I was like, what? I had been so high with the, which again, I don't think is good, yeah, the way I was doing it. But I had been in such a high state of these meditations that then when I stopped, and coming back to a regular normal state, I felt like worse. So this can happen as well, and this is not to praise myself or anything. Really, this was a problem for me. I shouldn't have gone so strongly into meditation without a teacher and without balancing it with some more physical work. But anyway, let's go back. So, Maria, maybe you are at such a point, and you don't realize how you were 2 years ago, and now you are saying, "Well, I don't feel it's doing anything to me." And this is a very common experience when we are having a particular sadhana, a particular practice that we do every day. And after a year, 2 years, 3 years of practice, you don't realize how well you are. There is, if you were not practicing this, you might be in much more captured by negativity, much more I don't know, feeling down with the energy, more easily influenced, whatever. There can be many, many things, yeah? It's Indian Punjabi. Okay. And I have another message to read. I have POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. I'm up to 15 to 20 minutes walking now. Okay, good. Okay, so you can walk. Good, then you do whatever you can. Yeah, then you do as much as you can. And if you can walk in nature and you can chant mantras, that's it. You know, that's what Guru Nanak did. He would just walk around all India, yeah, and he would just chant the Nam. And he said that's enough. So that would be enough, yeah. But it's definitely good to be walking. So Maria, okay, Indian Punjabi, perfect. Okay. So coming back to this concept, no, I've been practicing for 2 years and I don't feel anything is happening. One thing could be that, you know, maybe you don't feel how good you are because you forgot about how you were 2 years ago. That could be one thing. Another thing could be maybe you did get stuck. Maybe you feel like there is something that needs to advance and it's not advancing. It's getting not still and stable and strong, but actually stuck. Well, if that's the case, I would recommend that you ask your teacher. I mean, somebody somebody gave you that mantra, right? Somebody initiated you into that. And so it would be good to check back with that person. And I always recommend to have a spiritual teacher, because the moments we are feeling down, the moments that we are more confused, we cannot decide by ourselves what to do because we don't have the discernment in those moments. And we can get very, very confused. And the mind is extremely powerful. It can convince us of anything it wants. So if we are not careful, yeah? So having a spiritual teacher, somebody that you trust, somebody that and particularly you trust that they are going to nudge you to bring you into balance when you need it, then that's very necessary. So if you still have contact with your spiritual teacher, I would recommend that you ask again, yeah? Sometimes it's not possible. Sometimes we only saw that person once and they gave us the mantra. But if the person is somebody that you really trusted and you put your heart and you decided that you were going to commit to that, then you can keep practicing and just, if they told you that this is for life, then you can trust it if you committed to that. Yeah, I think it all depends to what your commitment is and your commitment was. That's why it's good to have a spiritual teacher. If you are committed to somebody that is gonna be checking with you, making sure that you are aligned, making sure you don't get away from the line. So every now and then keeping track of your practices so that they can give you advice, no? That's always helpful. There's no any change? Okay. Um, can you go back to this person who gave you the initiation? Can you ask again? I told you should not change it. So is that for life? Did they tell you it's for life? And are you committed to that? You have to decide at the end of the day, yeah? But this is also another reason why don't we mix up different traditions, yeah? Because, for example, in the tradition that I am, and that's something I subscribe to very much, which is the concept of self-initiation. That we live in an age where we cannot wait for people to tell us that we are allowed to do something or not or another, and to give us some magical secret ingredient. I think that was very useful up until very recently in the history of this planet. The sacred was kept secret. The sacred and the secret were together, but now everything has opened up, and with the opening up of everything secret, then the sacred becomes available to anyone, and that means that you can choose to still do it the old way, like going to a tradition and asking to get initiated and just commit to that and follow it. But also is in our, how can I say it? Because of the age that we are living, this Aquarian age that we are living, it's part of our, not duty, our rights, let's say. It's part of my rights to be able to choose whether I want to do that or not. And so, in a way, I am self-initiating myself. I am choosing to initiate myself in something. So I don't go to my teacher and ask him, oh, I don't do it anymore. I've done it in the past. Like, can you recommend some practice for me? He would always be very careful to give me something. But if I ask him, then he would maybe suggest something to do. But he never said something like this is for life. But again, if you are committed to your spiritual teacher, you are hoping, you are trusting that they have a view that transcends our perspective. And so they can tell you this is for life for you. You need it. And if that's so, then Wahuru. There is another teacher in Kundalini Yoga, actually in Sananrasayana, a practice that is for healing within the line of Kundalini Yoga. And the teacher of Sananrasayana, he was called Ardaas Singh. And Gurudev, he would be amazing. Like if you got close to him, if you just passed in front of him, he would give you a meditation to do for 90 days. not like that exactly, but if you went to talk to him for anything, you would come out of there with a meditation for 90, 120 days, 1,000 days, or who knows what, yeah? But he was incredible because his capacity it was like X-rays. His capacity to see through us and say, you need exactly this meditation. And we have over 8,000 types of meditation in Kundalini Yoga. And he would say, you need exactly that one. And he was always spot on. Every meditation I did that he recommended were incredible. And they would, I've done some of them for years. Yeah. So over 1,000 days, and they were really, really powerful, and I am very glad that he gave them to me. But I wouldn't say he initiated me. I would say he told me that meditation would be good for me, and I self-initiate. I choose to get up in the morning and do it, right? I choose to commit myself to doing it. I've also been doing some live meditations with Gurudev online, and he chants Om Shanti Om, which I also like. That's where I've been learning the pranayams. Oh, that it's the one I'm talking now, Gurudev. That's probably a different Gurudev from the one you are talking about right now. The one I was mentioning is from the Kundalini Yoga tradition. But yeah, he chants Om Shanti Om. That's quite nice. Peace. Yeah, you've been in the pranayams. Yeah, awesome. So when I say about self-initiation, that's what I mean. Is that even if you go to somebody and they tell you this is your mantra, you still have to choose it. right? You have to decide whether you are committing to that or not. And commitment is the most important step. In Kundalini Yoga, we say commitment is the first step to happiness. And if you are not committed, forget it. Where was it? I don't remember which text this was. Was it in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika? I'm not sure if it was that one. It's some text that says, look, yoga is for everybody. Yoga is for the deaf, is for the dumb, is for the disabled. Yoga is for any kind of issue that you may have. Anybody, the blind, whatever. Yoga is for everyone except for one type of person. Yoga is not for the lazy one. It's so true. Because yoga, what I like about yoga is that it is an active position you have to take. You have to decide that you're going to do it. And you have to commit yourself. You have to decide that you're going to do it. And you receive the benefit from that commitment. So, yeah. So how are we with this whole question about the mantras? And how are you? Infinite Stories and Mombadia and anybody else, if you are online and you want to comment, feel free to pop in and just write it in the chat. Yeah, we are having a conversation here, but this should be open for everyone. So. Let me see. Did I leave some message? I think I did them all. So let's go back to the. I'm waiting if somebody writes something in the chat. In the meantime, let me go back to the first message of this afternoon, when Infinite Studies was saying her mantra, the mantra she had created a mantra. Yeah. In Kundalini Yoga, we have some mantras that Yogi Bhajan brought. And he made these. Some of them are in English, and I think the idea. Actually, we combine some from the Punjabi, in Punjab, Gurumukhi, and some in English. And the idea is both. When we are chanting Govinda Mukhandu Dare Pare Hare Kariname Kame Govinda Mukhandu Dare Pare, we are calling on to the vibration that comes from that particular mantra, which is part of the Jap Sahib, yeah, from Guru Gobind Singh. So when we are chanting the mantras in Gurumukhi, we are calling upon all those hundreds of thousands, millions of people, or millions of times that have been chanting these words, and they are already charged with that energy. And when we are chanting the other ones, the mantras that are in English, like I am the light of the soul, then we are tuning into the meaning of the words and hopefully put much more of not more our hearts than in Govinda Mukhande, but give meaning to the words. Because actually Govinda Mukhande, we can learn the translation, but most people who will read that, they are not Punjabi Sikhs. They are maybe Western people, or maybe you are not Western, maybe you are Eastern people, but this is not your mother tongue. Same with Om Namo Narayanaya or Om Shanti Om. You can repeat it, but then can you tune into that? Yeah, Shanti meaning peace. Can you tune into the peace? Can you chant it in a way that you are calling on the peace? Yeah, and you are finding the peace within. So that's when we are chanting them in English, like I am the light of the soul, I am bountiful, I am beautiful, I am bliss, I am. That's a beautiful way to tune into the meaning of that. That's the one that was coming to me when Infinite Stories, when you were writing the one that you are practicing, is similar kind of to the one, this one. I am the light of the soul. I am bountiful. I am beautiful. I am bliss. I am. Yeah. So it kind of connects this light, the love, and the I am. And it's not about life. You were saying about the joy. So this is the bliss as well. Yeah. So Maria says, for us here, we are in Africa, it's very hard to go where we have a representative. Yeah, I see. So you're saying that it's difficult for you to go and find somebody to give you to check how you are doing with the mantras, yeah? Well, I do my best here online. This is why I'm doing these sessions as well. So anybody can connect from anywhere in the world, and we can connect. But at the end of the day, I can only give you my impression from what you are telling me. So I don't know who gave you that mantra, and I cannot advise you where you are, what is happening. I can only tell you what could be going on. When things get stuck, when things move on, and also maybe something else on that. Sometimes we feel like just because nothing is happening, then that we are stuck and we should change something. But not necessarily. I think, especially with these years that we are experiencing the post-COVID era, and the arrival of artificial intelligence and all the changes that are coming into the world, if you are stable, that's incredible. If you are not demoralized and negative and sinking into bad thoughts, and that's incredible. If you hold yourself still, that's a battle won already. So I wouldn't like to underestimate that this stability that you're saying, like nothing seems to be changing, that's actually quite incredible with the times that we are living right now. So same here. I'm in Maine. The closest to me is hours away. Yeah, I understand. I mean, there's many teachers that are willing to do a Zoom session as well. So maybe if you have a teacher, then you can connect through Zoom. But you mentioned Infinite Stories that you are doing self-taught. So then I understand. Yeah, I understand. I mean, I was in that position, but I have to say it's good when you have a teacher that you can check every now and then. Not so much for me. Now I see Shiv Charang 2 or 3 times a year, and every now and then, if something very radical happens in my life, then I will write to him. Maybe I will ask for a consultation, and he's always available for me. But I used to be much more needy of his presence, right? But I can understand if you live in Africa or Maine, and it's hard to find somebody around. It can be quite frustrating, that you have all this commitment that you want to put onto the spiritual path, but it's hard to know which way to go. This whole thing that's happened, the opening of the secret and the sacred, and making it available to anyone, it's both a blessing and a curse, because it's a blessing because now everybody has access to it, including us. However, now there's so many things, and if you look into the, how do you call it? The spiritual marketplace, right? There is all sorts of things to buy. Yeah, they tell you, well, this yoga is wonderful, and but so is this one. But you can also do this kind of therapy, and that's that healing kind of thing, and you can do this, and it can be very confusing. Yeah, especially when you arrive into this spiritual marketplace, and there's all sorts of things calling your attention, and look at me, and do this and do that. So I can understand it can be frustrating, that you have this commitment, you realize, I want to do something spiritual, and then what do I do? Because there's so many opportunities, so many different things, but you have a limited amount of energy. What are you going to commit with? So that's why we recommend at the beginning to do a little bit of guru shopping. Yeah, you go shopping for a guru. Yeah, you go around the marketplace and check and look around and smell, how does the fruit smell? Yeah, and feel what is your heart telling you, what is your soul pulling you towards, to find the thing that you can commit with. And that's why also, when Infinite was saying that about, mixing different traditions, and I said, well, it's fine to test and try, yeah? And then you will find something that you are feeling more aligned with. And what can I say? It's just a matter of trusting and opening yourself to that. Yeah. Not much more that I can say about that. So how about we chant a little bit of the I am the light of the soul? Should we chant it a little bit? And there is some, I've done it in the stream already. And there is a celestial communication that could be done, and but we're not going to do the celestial communication. We are just going to do it with the eyes closed today. Yeah. Do I do Zoom consultations? Yes, I do occasionally. Yeah, when I'm asked. Yeah. So let's do this. Let's repeat the words. But I mean, you all speak English, so I'm not gonna write them in the screen. If you can, close your eyes. If you are walking in the nature, then keep them open. If you are driving as well. But let's just chant the mantra. I will repeat it. You try to repeat it with me, and you will learn it very, very soon. Yeah. Oh, and this one thing with the mantra, even if we don't we don't change mantras which are already created, I wouldn't recommend changing anything with this one, but you can change the movement of the arms. If you want to do some particular mudra or movement of the arms when you are chanting the mantra, you can just intuitively let yourself be inspired and do whatever you feel, and that's perfectly fine. So you could do that. Let's chant the mantra. I am the light of the soul, I am bountiful, I am beautiful, I am bliss, I am, I am. I am the light of the soul, I am bountiful, I am beautiful, I am bliss, I am, I am. I am the light of the soul. I am bountiful. I am beautiful. I am bliss. I am, I am. I am the light of the soul. I am bountiful. I am beautiful. I am bliss. I am, I am. I am the light of the soul, I am bountiful, I am beautiful, I am bliss, I am, I am. I am the light of the soul, I am bountiful, I am beautiful, I am bliss, I am, I am. I am the light of the soul. I am bountiful. I am beautiful. I am bliss. I am, I am. I am the light of the soul. I am bountiful. I am beautiful. I am bliss. I am, I am. I am the light of the soul, I am bountiful, I am beautiful, I am bliss, I am, I am. I am the light of the soul, I am bountiful, I am beautiful, I am bliss, I am, I am. I am the light of the soul. I am bountiful. I am beautiful. I am bliss. I am, I am. I am the light of the soul. I am bountiful. I am beautiful. I am bliss. I am, I am. I am the light of the soul, I am bountiful, I am beautiful, I am bliss, I am, I am. I am the light of the soul, I am bountiful, I am beautiful, I am bliss, I am, I am. I am the light of the soul. I am bountiful. I am beautiful. I am bliss. I am, I am. I am the light of the soul. I am bountiful. I am beautiful. I am bliss. I am. Waheguru. Thank you very much, everyone. Infinite, you can contact me directly if you wish a consultation. You can find my contact in the information tab of the channel. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, everyone, for supporting. Thank you for telling others about this channel and the videos that we do. Next week is Easter holidays here in Portugal, where I live. I'm going to go away with my daughters for a week on holiday to my homeland. And I'm not going to be streaming. However, I have prepared some videos that I recorded through these live sessions with some topics that were very interesting, old videos, and I will post them during next week. So I'm quite sure that you can, if you want your doses of streams, you will still get it next week. I will upload a few videos even though I'm away. Thank you, everyone. Oh, Le Hafaker, hello. Good to see you now. I only catch you up now that we are finishing, but good to see you here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And until next time, Satnam.